There he is.
Hello.
Reeves Price, look at you.
Yeah.
One
How's
of
it
the one of the hardest working men in showbiz. Hangout festival producer, vice president of festivals at AEG. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
So what it looks like you're working. It looks like you're solving, sending emails. What is going on in the inbox for Reeves Price a couple weeks before one of the biggest festivals of the year?
Um, a lot of just detail work, a lot of spending a lot of time dialing in our site plan and our map, making sure just looking for the things that we, maybe have overlooked and just kind of going through everything with a fine tooth comb and just, double checking, triple checking, kind of quadruple checking everything we have. It's a lot of focus on kind of how we've placement of different things within the site and then customer service and just making sure that people have the best weekend of their lives, and there's any number of things that can kind of challenge that, from just uh getting people into the show quickly, making sure there's enough restrooms, to the more glamorous things like making sure all the kind of lights and video and everything is just the way it's supposed to be. So, we're not far off from starting to load in and starting to build. So, we're only a couple days away from gear starting to show up in Gulf Shores and crew starting to show up. And, we'll be active down there for a month between loading in and the show and then loading out. So,
Amazing. Amazing. And by the way, for my audience, we're here to talk about Sand in My Boots, which is taking place in the beautiful white sand beaches of Gulf Shores, Alabama, May 16th through 18th. Of course, we will be there. But Reeves, you said a lot of interesting stuff there. Is that part of like your success ever since you were with Winter Circle and up to now? Is the fact that you take every festival every year and you kind of gather with your team and you're like, how can we make this better?
yeah, look, I think everybody in the festival world, takes that type of approach. I think something that sets, you know, myself and really AEG up is that we try to look at each event as, a wholly unique experience, and not sort of rinse and repeat anything, right? I mean, there's so many different types of events out there that we do, and different types of audiences that go to these different types of events. Sand in My Boots is certainly a unique one, because it's country led, but has a mix of programming. It's a partnership with Morgan Wallen, so a lot of care and attention to detail is sort of brought to the table around bringing his life and his passion and his brand, into the experience. And so I think our key to success is, um, yeah, really treating each event as a unique event, treating it like it's even though it may be an annual event or something that kind of recurs or comes back, treating it like it's a once in a lifetime experience, for our fans and for the artists and for the staff too. So, really not never getting on our heels, never being sort of satisfied with where we are, and always looking to improve.
I love it. I love it. I love it, Reeves. And don't forget for the media too. Let's go.
Yes, of course.
No, but Reeves, let me start with this, because you said a lot of interesting stuff, but I have to start with the lower hanging fruit. The switch from Hangout.
Yeah.
That was surprising. Obviously, you guys sold out in 2 hours, so massive success. Everyone is really excited. But there was a contingency of people who rose their hands and they're like, "Oh man, what happened to Hangout?" Can you just like quickly take us through like the thought process there and like kind of like your how it went down?
I mean, basically, uh, you know, we had a really unique opportunity to work with Morgan on this concept, and it just felt like something really special and unique, and something that we needed to take advantage of. I mean, Hangout is an amazing event, and it's not going anywhere. And so, it'll be returning in 26, and will continue to sort of be the marquee kind of festival that it has been. But I think, um, we knew we had this special opportunity, and it felt like something, we had to sort of say yes to. And I think it'll ultimately, we're going to learn from this one and be able to bring some ideas and some things that come out of it into Hangout, and also, vice versa. We'll see a lot of the stuff that we've learned and done in Hangout in the past, kind of being brought into Sand in My Boots. So, um, it really just we knew it was going to be a special event, a special weekend, and we it just felt like something we had to say yes to. And I think,
Absolutely.
and look, I think it's okay to take a year off from, a particular event every now and then, and let the audience, also remember what makes that event so special, right? And kind of get excited for the follow up. So, um, that was really, that's really all it was. It was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. We're not sure, if it comes back around again. It may or may not, but felt like a great time to do something a little different.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reeves, you've talked about this, and in the news it says you're crafting Morgan's world. You're bringing Morgan's world to life. The lineup is fantastic, and it's got some curveballs in there, really
Yeah.
good ones, by the way. But like, what do you mean by that? Like, what is Morgan's world? Like when you say bring it to life?
I mean, it's his interests, right? Whether it's, his his kind of passion for sports, or for the Atlanta Braves. It's kind of bringing some of those types of things and experiences into the site. And I want to be sort of, I don't want to go too in depth on that, but I think, because I don't want to spoil it. But it's taking things that, are important to him, and that he's passionate about, and bringing them into the experience. It's bringing, sort of iconic lines from his songs, or into, the naming of certain areas. The lineup is these are, uh he was actively involved in curating the lineup, and so it's bringing some of his favorite bands, in particular, some of those curveballs. I think, a lot of the sort of the indie acts and the hip hop acts and stuff. That's stuff that he's like, yeah, this is what's on my playlist. Like, this is what I want to listen. I want to see it. I want these guys to be a part of my weekend. So a lot of those curveballs are ideas, and that come, yeah, off of his playlists. And then, just backstage, I think some special, touches that will, kind of make the artists and the media and everybody else feel like, they're being hosted by Morgan. So that's,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, love to hear it. Reeves, let me ask you about, kind of like your trajectory professionally, because, I mean, Buku music in New Orleans, I mean, it's got such great reputation, and everything you did with Winter Circle. I mean, it really, I mean, how did this start? Because you've created something that is very dear to your heart, and everything you touch is like first class from what everybody says. What do you attribute this to, and like, how did this like passion start, Reeves?
I mean, it started from going to festivals as a fan. It started from, going to concerts as a fan. And it started from, being inspired by the city of New Orleans, really, and the great events that take place here, which, um, you know, this coming weekend is weekend one of Jazz Fest. And so
Right.
I think, I think you'd struggle to find anybody in the festival industry that hasn't been inspired by Jazz Fest, by New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It's such a unique event. Um, so for me, it started like that. It started as a fan, as an attendee, going to these events with my friends, making new friends there. And then you kind of, you sort of naturally become like, oh, it's like, it'd be cool if they did this, or like, it'd be cool if they, if they had this act, or it'd be cool if they thought about things this way. And so you kind of, when you go to a lot of events, you kind of become a natural, like, kind of a critical thinker, or, a sort of an active participant. And, but you never really dreamed that, like, you actually could potentially, put together something like this on your own. Um, and so coming out of, college, I went to Tulane here in New Orleans. Um, the Hurricane Katrina sort of split uh, my college time in half. It was right between my sophomore and junior year at Tulane, and that really provided it really kind of provided a reset within the music industry here in New Orleans. A lot of the promoters that had been really active in the market, had kind of moved on because there was, for sort of obvious reasons, and there was a vacuum in the market that myself and my business partner at the time, Dante Di Pasquale, were able to step into. So, New Orleans provided a unique platform and opportunity for us to kind of start kind of bringing some kind of progressive music into town. There was a lot of focus around preserving and supporting the New Orleans talent that, which was obviously critical, but there was less focus on bringing stuff, back in from town and kind of telling what's the next chapter of the sort of New Orleans festival and music business and culture. So we were, that really provided a unique opportunity for us to kind of start a business and grow fairly quickly. Um, and we, were inspired to start a festival in 2012, which was the year which was Buku year one. Um, you know, we were more interested in a festival than having our own kind of club or theater. Um, a festival just provides a really unique, malleable kind of platform and kind of medium through which to just be creative, right? And you get to rethink it every year, and you get to really sort of customize and build a bespoke experience that starts from the website and the ticket purchase process all the way through the end of the event. Whereas for us, we didn't have the capital to build a venue. So we would go in and rent somebody's venue for a day and do a show there, and which was great, but all we could really do to kind of control the experience was invest in the production, bring in more lights or video or things like that. We couldn't really, you know, decorate the venue or sort of tell the security how we wanted them to treat our guests, um, or on the economic side of things, sell sponsorship or things like that. So a festival was you know, the right way for us to kind of create a new creative experience, year over year, and build and have an asset that we could, that could we could leverage towards a partnership. And that's what really led us to AEG and led AEG to us in 2015.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a wonderful symmetry, and you've allowed to keep your vision, which is beautiful. Reeves, thanks for your time. For those people that haven't been, and I know this year is super sold out, but maybe like for next year's or hangout, tell us a little bit about the location. Um, Specifically, for people that haven't been, how can they fly? I know it's very central, but if you can just elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, Gulf Shores, Alabama is, it's a shockingly beautiful, kind of beach town. These big, wide, white sand beaches that are really conducive to hosting an event like this. There's not, we've looked far and wide. There's really not many, beaches like this that can kind of do this sort of event and communities that are supportive. Um, it's, to get there, it's flying into either Pensacola or Mobile, or if you want a little bit further of a drive, it's flying into New Orleans, which is only a couple-hour drive, and then you can, maybe bookend it with a weekend, in the French Quarter or whatever it is. But for folks that fly in, they're usually flying into Mobile or Pensacola. A lot of folks drive though. It's a pretty convenient drive from anywhere in the southeast or up kind of the central part of the country. There's you know there's lots of kind of condo and hotel options in the Orange, in the Gulf Shores area and the Orange Beach area and kind of surrounding towns. And so um, it really feels like a festival and vacation sort of put together. I think um, a lot of folks and a lot of festivals sort of feel, you kind of come out of the weekend and you feel sort of drained, right? You're like sort of like, oh man, that really like I really kicked my butt, and like now I need a vacation after my vacation sort of thing. I think we're all familiar with that feeling. You know, it the but hang out and sand in my boots. Like I think we do a good job of kind of providing, you know, a vacation feel and a relaxing feel and sort of overlaid on a festival experience. And I think I think I think that's what kind of helps set it apart. You really, you know, you can wake up and kind of go and hang out on the beach in the morning and kind of like get your time, you know, in the water and then kind of walk right into the festival grounds. It's if you're staying in the Gulf Shores, you know, area on the beach, I mean, most people are just walking to the festival, you know.
Amazing.
It's not it doesn't take you an hour to drive there in traffic and then parking in a parking lot where you can, you know, where it takes 30 minutes to find your car at the end of the night type of thing. Um, and we have a really extensive shuttle program that kind of runs north, east, and west, and kind of drops off at a lot of the major hotels and condo buildings. So it's really, you know, it's really a convenient and comfortable festival experience. And but still provides all of the big, you know, the big time talent and production value and sort of on and sort of experiential value that you would get at a major music festival.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Reese. All right, let me leave you with this. Who are you looking forward to seeing besides the headliners? Like as a music fan, who's on your bucket list that you're like, man, I gotta find some time to see them.
Well, let's see. I mean,
I'll tell you who, like the War on Drugs for me, big fan. So really stoked for them, for example.
I'm they're up there for me too. They're sort of top 5 on my listening list right now. I'm excited to see Paul Cawthon. He hasn't been doing very many shows lately, but I love Paul Cawthon. Um 49 Winchester is a great kind of Americana country band that I'm looking forward to.
Big friends of our show, 49.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and Brooks and Dunn, you know, like see the classics. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Reeves, you've said it all. Hangout Festival producer, vice president of AEG. Sand in my boots, taking place in May. Super excited, and thank you so much for your time.
yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in. Click here to subscribe and get the latest from the show, including exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and once-in-a-lifetime performances. And as always, thank you for making Jrod Concerts Media part of your day.